Well, I'm here today with Mike Jones, who is the fabulous host with the most at the Jet Setter Lounge in Lake Worth, Florida. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Pleasure. This is mine.
Tell me about the Jet Setter. Tell me when you founded it. How long has it been around?
Well, it'll be a year, actually, December 21st, so just shy of a year.
And tell me what the idea behind the Jet Setter was. What was your inspiration?
Oh, gosh. I was born in 1959, which makes me 27 this year. And I grew up as I guess you would call me a child of the space age era. You know, the early 60s, was a moment in time that inspired me for what we put together here, between, going to the New York World's Fair as a kid in 1964 and 1965, going to the TWA terminal at the new JFK airport, was kind of, inspiring from the fact that people now had the opportunity to travel from other continents. Was the dawning of the jet set era.
Tell me a little bit about the TWA Lounge. I think that's something that probably a lot of people don't know about and maybe see a bit of iconography about today, but maybe isn't something that's in the popular consciousness. So maybe you could elaborate on that for me.
Yeah, well, it's a Saarinen design building, and it's, a space age architecture by any means. And at the time it was, all arches, and it was a big concrete structure, and I guess Epcot Center would probably be the modern day equivalent, or Tomorrowland at Disneyland or at Disney World.
Tell me a little bit more about the World's Fair and how that inspired you, and the connection maybe visually between the things at the World's Fair in 1964 and what we see here.
Well, the World's Fair in 64 and 65 was a combination of, the dawning of the space age era, futuristic Jetson-esque kind of architecture, design, and it was also a melding of cultures. You had the international pavilions, you had the Polynesian pavilion, which was my first experience eating anything Polynesian as a young child.
So tell me a little bit about the Tiki element in the Jet Setter lifestyle.
All right. Well, during that era and period in time, the late 50s, early 60s, I think you had multiple cultures going on, be it the modern culture, the mid-century modern culture, and you also had the dawning of the Polynesian experience. So, it just seemed natural to combine them too, as well as some of the artists we represent between Shag, Doug Horn, Derek Yaniger. I think they all pick up on the crossover between mid-century modern culture and the Tiki culture.
Absolutely. So now that you've mentioned the kind of Tiki and space age renaissance, tell me a little bit about how the Jet Setter Lounge appeals to the modern hipster.
Well, I think people's first reaction when they come in here is that some of them don't know what to make of it. Some of them are, wow, it's the Jetsons. Then they go outside. The mysteries of the unknown with Leonard Nimoy, with how did these idols get here, and this uninhabited island. It must have been delivered from space, which is actually incorporated in some of the art elements here as well. So I thought it would be only natural to add the space age element to the Tiki Garden, to combine them two together, because how'd they get here?
So why do you think that there is an interest in the early 2000s or mid 2000s in space age and Tiki? What does that appeal to in people today?
I think the era. What appealed to me most about the era, it was an age of optimism. I think within our modern culture and modern society, we're kind of a pessimistic society, and it was the race to the moon. Granted, it was steeped in Cold War geopolitics, but I think was a moment in time that was innocence, and we're kind of at a point of innocence lost now. And I think what appeals to people about this place, is that return to the sense of the age of innocence. It's also, people liken it to a house party. When they come in here, they can settle in anywhere, be it in the lounge, which tantamount to a living room, or they can go have dinner in the dining room, sit on the patio, go out in the lawn, sit out in the yard. So I think it's the world's largest house party.
So since this segment is called Tiki Tips, why don't you share with us your tip for if somebody was going to be throwing a Tiki themed party, what's the most important thing they can bring to it as a host?
That's fairly simple. Lots of rum. No party would be complete, especially a Tiki party, without ample supplies of rum. white rum, dark rum, gold rum, aged rum, my personal favorite. Drink nothing but aged Guatemalan rum on the rocks. Crushed ice, hand crushed in our Daisy Rocket ice crusher from 1957. I guess the second thing you'd need is our ample supply of wahinis and women. Rum and women are a perfect tiki party. And make a good jet set experience.
Wishing you a tiki-tastic good time, this is Amy and Mike.